Hey everyone, welcome to our small footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a family of 8 who live off-grid in Australia. Today's video is a fairly quick one. I told myself I was going to do a weekly update of the garden so that I've got it for my records. And of course, I'm like a couple of days past what would be the weekly update for this week, of course. I have shopping this week, so I'm trying to jam everything that needs to be done into the day before I leave. So it's just a matter of, timing. But I wanted to do a quick chat with you, update before I go on my shopping trip and all that sort of thing, and show the garden, and then that way I've got a record of what's going on too. But it also means that I don't forget to share certain things. So at times I come out here and I think, have I shown you guys this yet or not? I really need to be better about taking photos to share on Instagram and Facebook and stuff too. All these things that I'm trying to get better at and not necessarily succeeding. So we are in an arid zone of Australia, which means that we still had a 2 degrees Celsius overnight the other night, but we're getting to 30 to 35 during the day Celsius. I'll remember to put the Fahrenheit conversions on the screen because I don't know them off the top of my head. So we're having huge wild swings in temperatures, which is normal for us for this time of the year in October. I have a weather station on the roof and I've been tracking the weather for the last 3 years, so I have a record of the weather in every month for the last few years. So it's pretty normal for this time of year for us. It does mean though that I start my gardens a little bit later because we have those cold nights, which is why I got the hothouse going and everything else. But it means that I only started putting stuff out in the garden last week before, early October. What's the date today? Today's the 17th or something of October. Most of my stuff that's in the garden hasn't been in there very long. Now, the other thing is that for everyone who's been here for a while, has seen previous videos, they know that we're redoing the whole garden. So we have started raised beds this year and we've started some wicking bed IBCs and things like that. Lots of learning curves to go along with those, but we also haven't quite filled all the beds yet, which means that we're still getting plants out. But I'm also learning a little bit here about companion planting and things like that, because before I did rows, market garden style row gardens. So we just had rows of the same things. I had, 3 rows of zucchinis and 3 rows of tomatoes and things like that. And now I'm having to put them in beds and plant with them because I've only got trellises at the back for certain things and stuff like that. So as I'm going along, I'm learning and I'm bringing you along. And hopefully this means that this year will do well and that next year I'll have it all sorted. But the raised beds and stuff too, I'm hoping to get succession planting better sorted this year, so to have greens and stuff throughout the whole summer, and then get the autumn gardening done, the winter plants in. So in winter we do get frosts, but only overnight, so our daytime temperatures are still always above zero. They're always sort of like 8 to 10 is probably the lowest that we go, but we're more inclined to be like 15 to 20. So we can grow all through the year, but only things that can handle frosts, because we do get down to about -8 at times during winter. But our winter is pretty short. It's only about 3 months at the most, sort of thing. So we generally get it, it's probably longer than that. We generally get our first frost in May and our last frost in September. So what's that? May, June, July, August, September. It's 5 months, but it's a mild 5 months. There's enough heavy frosts in there that it impacts our ability to grow all year. Now, it is the middle of the day, so some of the stuff that I'm going to show you is going to look really sad because that's what happens. The middle of the day, sun hits it, everything droops because it's low on water. I can see my pumpkins and watermelons are looking very droopy over there. But at the moment this section here is in shade, so the location of the garden works quite well. There are certain areas of it that are in shade. All of the garden has certain areas that are, I'll reword that. The whole garden has shade at some point during the day, which isn't necessarily good for a lot of things that you'd think to grow, but in the Australian summer it's necessary. If everything was in open sunlight all day, it wouldn't work. We haven't got the irrigation set up yet, so I'm still hand watering at the moment, and it's showing. Some of the stuff is not doing as well as I would like. Some of the seedlings in the hothouse are doing better than what's out here because it's being watered more consistently, and that's just because we haven't got the irrigation set up. So I have the barrels set up for the irrigation, but I'm still waiting on the tap attachments and things like that for the barrels. They haven't turned up yet. Hopefully they will this week. So other than that, what have we done? So we planned it out. I'm going to show you that. We also put some more shade cloth up and things like that. So let me turn you around and give you a look. Alright, so these are the first 2 beds that I planted out. We've got the tomatoes and the peppers and some basil and stuff all doing well in these ones. So these were beefsteak tomatoes, German Johnson, pineapple and Rouge de Marmande, I think. And then this bed was all Brandywine tomatoes. These are guajillo peppers, and then we've got the marigolds and stuff, everything there as well. So everything is looking really good here. We have the bed here that I've got cabbages in, and then I side planted beetroots just last week, I think. So the beetroots are doing really well. We have had some white cabbage moth caterpillars that I have picked off. There is some damage to these cabbages. I do have netting to go over it, and I bought everything to get it done, and I just haven't got it done yet. And now I'm a little concerned that I might end up netting some eggs in here with it, so I'm going to have to be really careful to have a good look regularly once I get the netting up. I might ask Darryl to do that while I'm shopping, get the saddle clips on there and get the netting over this, because I did pull a caterpillar off the other day, and there is some potential caterpillar dirt in the middle there. I think this one looks good. Red cabbages are less likely to attract white cabbage moth, which is handy, but I planted some of both. So, and if you look, it does seem that way. Like this green cabbage, though, no, not really. This purple one has some damage, but the middle of it looks really good, whereas the middle of this one looks like it's been chewed on. So we'll see how we go. Growing spring cabbages is a bit of an experiment for me anyway. I normally grow them on the other side of summer, but I decided to just do one bed to give it a go. This is the bed of cucumbers and bush beans and turnips, and it looks fantastic. So I've been thinning out the turnips as I go. Sorry, not turnips, radishes as I go. Got a row of daikon radishes, and then the little, I think the French breakfast at the middle. So I've been thinning them out as I need to. The beans are looking really good, and we've been hand pollinating the cucumbers as they come in. But this bed's looking really good too. Lovely and green, and that's just amazing, because last year the garden was so bad that any sort of green is looking good. Now I had to pull my rhubarb out of the ground because we had we moved the beds that it was in, and so it's just sitting in pots at the moment. This crown was really badly damaged, but it's coming back, and this one looks alright, so I need to decide where I'm going to put them permanently. Zucchini beds, we're going to try growing the zucchini vertically. So this is what it looks like this week. This is the Coquezel zucchinis, and these were only planted out last week, I think, and they're pretty small. And I've got some nasturtiums in the corner, the Alaskan variegated one and a standard one. This is the all green and the Lebanese cucumbers, and they were planted the week before the Coquezel, so they're looking really good. I did plant an IBC out with cabbages, which I've shown. They're not doing well, and I think a lot of the thing is that these wicking beds, they're not getting wet enough at the top. The seedlings just weren't established enough, and they're not hunting for the water. So considering these were planted almost the same time as the cabbages over there, they're not doing well. So I haven't made a decision on whether I'm going to pull these and replant this bed, because spring cabbages are a bit of a gamble anyway, but I'm going to leave it until I come back, and I've given the top a really good water, and Darryl's going to give the top a water while I'm gone as well. Again, we're having some troubles establishing these wicking beds because it's the first thing for me. For a start, this sunk a lot, so it probably will need topping up as pretty quickly, because obviously this is sunk really bad. So what I did was a row of zinnias in the back. I've got some silver beet, some spinach, some lettuce, some nasturtiums, some cornflowers, some marigolds, just a mix of greens. I'm still, as I said, all of this is a bit of a learning curve, but we've had some stuff die off, obviously because they were just too small, and so they can't get the water from underneath, and I've been watering on top, but obviously it's just not enough. So we shall see how we go there. These ones got a bit sunburnt too. We lost a lot of the first leaves because they got sunburnt. So what we've done is we've put some shade cloth up above here. Now it's not perfect in, we've just done what we can, but we've put 2 rows of shade cloth up above all of this, and that will provide some shade throughout the day. It's just 30% shade cloth, and it'll just help a little bit to keep things, somewhat better. So we put the other 4 beds here together, but they aren't full yet, so we've still got those to do. And then we have the tomatoes that I planted last week, I think. Now I haven't done anything else in these beds yet. I'm going to go on and quickly grab some stuff before I go, because I want to get it in the ground before I go. Some basil and some more silver beet and things like that. But I really am struggling a little bit with the whole deciding what to put in with what veggies, when normally I would just have a single veggie in a row. So I'm not overly impressed with this Gilberti paste tomato. It is not doing anywhere near as well as the rest, so I think I'm going to pull that one and put a spare Marzano tomato that I've got in there, because I just think that it doesn't feel worthwhile. But yeah, so I've got some marigolds in here and the tomatoes, and that's it so far. I then got the wicking bed. So this is the wicking bed that I took a video of to share, which I'm not sure how I'm releasing that video. We'll figure that out. So this has got some Kajari melons in it. They only went in there this morning, so they were looking a little bit sad. But then I put this trellis, this old metal trellis up, so we're going to walk it up there. And then, as I said, the pumpkins and stuff in the other wicking tubs are looking a bit sad because it's the middle of the day and everything looks sad at the middle of the day. Everything does a little bit of a droop. And then the pumpkins here don't actually have that shade cloth. The shade cloth only went to here. So they do get full sun for most of the day, which is fine. It just means that I'm going to have to make sure that these are well topped up and well watered on top. And they're not actually unwell. It is just middle of the day, sunny droop. The other thing that I did was I got 25 strawberry crowns. And so what I've done is put them in these two beds here. So we've got some that are starting to already green back up, so there is got some new growth in that one too. So there is 25 or 24 crowns, 12 in each ones of these beds of strawberries, so hopefully they will perk back up and we will get some harvest out of those as well. And then at the end of the season I can always grab some runners to extend into more beds as well, but for the moment, what if we can get them out of this, then that would be good. So that's the garden update itself. So we still have plenty of IBCs to finish, we still have some half buckets to finish, and then those full buckets to use for the irrigation, plus those 4 raised beds to fill. And then we're going to assess what we've got left in the way of materials to fill them, because if we've got more, then I might order a couple more beds, because there's a few more spaces that I can put those beds in to be used for various things. I wouldn't mind a bed that was completely flowers, but at the moment, all the beds sort of have been associated with plants, so we're not there. So the other thing I'm going to do today before I go on the shopping trip is I'm going through my hothouse to share a bunch of the seedlings that I'm not going to need with a friend, a local friend. So Darryl is going to drop them off for me. So let me turn you around. So we still have a whole lot in the hothouse here. Now, these paprikas, I haven't got any of them in the garden yet, and these were the extra jalapenos. They need a little bit longer before they go out anywhere. These are the tomatoes to go in the beds that we haven't got together yet. So we've got Sun Golds, Black Beauties and Solars. These ones here are all the Tommy Toes. So all 40 of the Tommy Toe seedlings worked. So I'm going to give a whole tray of these to my friend. I've got some excess guajillo peppers here. And some more bits and pieces of tomatoes. This tray looks like it could do with the water. But there's some German Johnsons there, Napoli paste, it's a Sun Gold. So I still have 4 beds that I can put 8 or 9 tomatoes in each bed. But I do have, so these Lucids, I really want to have a few of those. I really want a few of the Black Beauties, things like that. And then I want cherry tomatoes as well, so I want the Tommy Toes, the Sun Golds and all that sort of thing. So I'm going to assess what I want. I've got some really big ones here that I'll send. These are brand new ones. That one's even got some flowers on it. So these are brand new one tomatoes, so I will send a few of them over to her. I've got a whole bunch of basil that needs to go in the beds. I've got some dill that I seeded there as well. And then I also have some chamomile here. And I did start a tray of lettuce. Now, the front half of the lettuce, I'm trying soil blocks again. I've tried them before and I've never had much success with them, but I've changed the soil mix that I'm using this year, so I was hoping to get a bit more of a go of it. And the soil blocks themselves, quite good. However, if you can see, something ate all the lettuce. So the first half of the soil blocks didn't even sprout, so I used 2 different lettuce seeds, and obviously one of them is no good. But the back half all sprouted, and then I came out this morning to find that something had eaten all the tops of them. So that sucks. But anyway, so I've got some chamomile there that I'm babying before I get out in the beds. That lettuce was supposed to be succession plan. I will have to start more lettuce. I also have extras here of this sort of thing. So we've got here some spinach that I need to get in the beds. This is cornflowers. I'm still growing my elderberry cuttings. This is all my nasturtiums to go out. I've got delicatas, so I've got a whole bunch of these. There's some more in the hothouse, so I'll send them over to Angie as well because I don't need all of these. I've got some excess sugar baby watermelons, some excess zucchini and pumpkin, and all of these are going a little bit yellow because they've been in these pots for too long. So, you know, the peppermint has recovered really well with the rooting, and the parsley has as well. And I've got a whole bunch of silver beet and stuff there too, as well as this is more of those Tommy Toes. These are the Kellogg's tomatoes that I wanted to, that was the last seeds to give a go. I've got zinnias that need to go out. Some Sugar Rush Peach peppers that I wanted to try. Again, these were the last seeds that I had because I killed off the other ones in accidental frost, and this was supposed to be Argy Mango, but they didn't sprout and I don't have any more seeds. I've got a couple of pots of bergamot here and some echinacea, and then this is some more of the Argy Pineapple. So I've got heaps of stuff that needs to go out in the garden, just figuring out where I'm going to put it, and the stuff that I'm not going to use I'm going to pass on, because why bother holding on to it if I can't use it? And I like the idea of planting it in other spots that aren't the beds, but it's not going to make it, so that seems pointless too. So I definitely think that it's better off to pass it off to a friend who will get it in the garden and then we'll use it. And hey, maybe if they have excess, they can always just give the excess product back to me anyway. So that's where we're up to at the moment in the garden. Other updates, I don't think I've really got anything at the moment. We had chicks hatch. I'll put a little clip in here because I don't know if they were hatched last time I spoke to you. I've got new eggs on order for a couple of new breeds because we want some chocolate coloured eggs, and we will start them. They're going to be posted next week because I'm going to be in Brisbane, so I didn't want them to turn up at the post office while I was in Brisbane. So they'll come next week, and we'll start some more chicks to add to our mix. The gosling last week that I mentioned that we found stuck in water didn't make it, so we were down to one gosling. Our goose had 10 goslings and one has survived. I don't know whether that's normal or not. Everything I read said that geese were great parents, but it hasn't proven to be true for us. So we've only got one gosling out of the 10, which is a little bit sad, and as far as I'm aware, they only nest once a year as well. So anyway, what else? I think that's all for now. So I just wanted to quickly do this garden update so that I could show you guys and so that I've got a record of it as well. And then I've got a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm getting done for the shopping. So I'll do a video of the shopping prep, and I'll do a video of while I'm shopping and all that sort of stuff this week too. And I also videoed the whole process of making that wicking tub for the Kajari melons. So I will put that together as well somehow and figure that out as well. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks, guys.